Welcome back. This is Neil Aitken, and this series is the Hermit Poetry Series, where I read work by contemporary poets and also a few poems of my own. Today's poem comes from the great Welsh poet Leslie Norris from his Collected Poems. It was published in 1994 by Poetry Wales Press. Seren was the actual imprint. 1996, sorry. And this is actually the last poem in the book. I had the good fortune, actually, a little personal aside, I had the good fortune of having Leslie Norris as my one of my first poetry professors when I was going to university as an undergraduate. He was a very humble poet, but incredibly talented and knew. He had the good fortune of growing up and working with and knowing and being friends with Dylan Thomas, Ted Hughes, Sylvia Plath, a lot of other great Welsh poets from the period. And he had the same sort of a mixture of fire and humility and love of language and people that permeates these poems. What I loved most was his ability to observe people and to quietly render them with such intensity. And that's this particular poem. It's entitled His Father Singing. My father sang for himself, out of sadness and poverty, perhaps from happiness, but I'm not sure of that. He sang in the garden quietly, a quiet voice near his wallflowers, which of all plants he loved most, calling them gillyflowers, a name he learned from his mother. His songs came from a time before my time, his boy's life among musical brothers, keeping pigeons, red and blue checkers, had a racing cycle with bamboo wheels. More often he sang the songs he'd learned still a boy, up to his knees in French mud, those dying songs. He sang for us once only, our mother away from the house, the lamp lit, and I reading 7 years old, already bookish at the scrub table. My brother cried from his crib in the small bedroom, teething, a peremptory squall, then a long wail. My father lifted from the sheets his peevish child, red-faced, feverish, carried him down in a wool shawl, and in the kitchen, holding the child close, began to sing, quietly, of course, and swaying rhythmically from foot to foot. He rocked the sobbing boy. I saw my brother's head, his puckered face fall on my father's chest. His crying died away, and I read on. It was my father's singing brought my head up. His little wordless lullabies had gone, and what he sang above his baby's sleep was never meant for any infant's comfort. He stood in the bleak kitchen, the stern young man, my father, for the first time raised his voice in pain and anger, sang. I did not know his song, nor why he sang it, but stood in fright, knowing it important, and someone should be listening. And that was Leslie Norris. If you enjoyed this reading if you enjoyed this reading, I hope you subscribe and come back and listen to more. I'll be posting at least Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays with occasional extras. And I hope to keep doing this as long as I can. Apparently we have lots of time to do this. So we will be back. So subscribe. Be back. Feel free to comment below. And I will see you again soon. Bye.